Dear participants of Youth Kyiv Security Forum, dear Arsenia, Yacenyuk, I'm really glad to be with you, even in online mode. First of all, I want to say what Lithuania was, is, and will be with Ukraine. Together with you, because we know very well what you are fighting not only for your independence, for your territorial integrity, for your freedom, but also for our security too. As you know, Lithuania is doing as much as we can to support you till your victory. One of the ideas which we support and all the time in all different formats trying to raise is your membership in NATO. In your victory plan, in the new victory plan, one of the pillars of this plan is invitation Ukraine to NATO. In last ministerial meeting of NATO defense ministers, I was in a position speaking loudly what we should not give to Russia the informal veto power on NATO enlargement. That's why the invitation of Ukraine to NATO would show the irreversibility of a process, not only in the words, but in the actions. The biggest problem is what not all Western leaders believes what membership of Ukraine in NATO will be basis for better security and defense of European security system. The problem is we are still thinking what it could escalate the situation, and I think it's a mistake. The historical lessons showing that Russia respects only when you are strong, when you can deter, and when you have allies. So that's why I believe the Ukrainian invitation to the NATO would be a perfect step which could deter and help Ukraine to win this brutal war. So the journey of Ukrainian nation to the NATO will be long, and you need to understand that. But you always will have the allies, the friends who will always support you in this, traveling and trying to achieve this strategic aim. I believe that Ukrainian nation, which fights now for us too, deserves, first of all, the decision by EU and NATO leaders of a possibility to be the member of a family. Because you are fighting for us, you are fighting for the family. And we should send the message once again to Russia, what they cannot decide our nation's future. And what you are showing on the battlefield, it's not only heroism, but you show what the patriotism, the national identity is still very, very important in 21st century. Talking about our common struggle of the freedom, for the freedom. You know, I always give an example. If you look now in Kaliningrad enclave, it's here close to Lithuania. You know, it's Suwalki Gap. We see it as a very sensitive spot in geopolitical terms. We always look at it, and now when you count the Russian troops in Kaliningrad, you see it as a quite empty field. Why? Because many troops of Russian army from Kaliningrad now is deployed in the fight against Ukraine, or in the fight against Ukraine in Kursk region. So it shows the linkage between your fight and our security. I call this process sometime 2 months before as a demilitarization of Kaliningrad region. So it's like direct dependence with your fight, which breaks Russian military machine, push back Russia from all different and difficult possible scenarios which could Russia try to create for us, for all NATO. So this is the evidence how your fight is helping us to win a time for preparing for deterrence and defense. So once again, thank you, your all brave nation for that. So the imperative of this situation is simple, and I'm always trying to convince my friends and allies in the western part of NATO. The best way to push back all bad scenarios is a long-standing support for Ukraine. Weapons, 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 ammunition, equipment. And I say to the people in the West, if you don't want to send your troops to defend Baltics, according to Article number 5 of NATO, we just give what Ukraine is asking for. So first of all, of course, military support. The new generation of Ukraine, I hope and I believe, is a key factor for European civilization and its security. I know it's difficult. I know it's you cannot be inspired by simple words, but just to feel what we feel, thinking about you. I don't know if it is such a brave nation in Europe, like you, who could, in this difficult, very difficult circumstances, knowing who is Russia, how strong it is, to give a fight, to fight and defend itself. You are showing the example for all of us. What the nation which has will to defend, has the habits to do it, and I think you are like a role model for all of us. So I hope you are creating the history. Your political leaders are creating the history. So as I'm saying sometimes, in the West we lack 21st century Churchill, but you have your own Churchill in Ukraine. So I hope you, from all your community, you will have many Churchills in the future. I wish you good luck and big success to your nation. Slava Ukraini!